jungle.
Good morning. How are you? Sorry to make you rush this morning.
No problem. It's great to be here. We have a lot to talk about, and I, I prepared some visuals to help explain that because these issues really are important and they need to be dealt with as quickly as possible by the public.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Great to have you.
Yes, so this is the study that I wanted to share to your audience. This is a new study coming from Columbia University in the USA, and what happened is that some scientists created a type of laser technology that allows them to measure plastics that are smaller than microplastics. So let's talk about size. What does that mean? This is a ruler, okay? On the top, we have centimeters, and on the bottom, we have inches. When we talk about microplastics, we are talking about micrometers, not centimeters, not millimeters, but micrometers. And in the news this year, we have learned about nanometers, which are smaller than micrometers. And the reason why this is important is because plastic particles from bottled water are so small that they stay in our bodies and they bioaccumulate. Bioaccumulation or bioaccumulate, it refers to the landfilling of, of small particles in our body, and they stay there. They do not leave. Maybe some might leave, but the majority do not. And over time, this causes inflammation, it causes oxidative stress, and those lead to damages of our cells in our body. And we can experience the manifestation of that when we get cancers, when we get when women give birth to babies with deformities, whether they be mental or physical. Uh, we see just a whole slew of problems. And that's the reason why, this year we will be having, the world will have its fourth meeting for a plastics treaty, which according to the UN is pushing for a reduction and the elimination of plastics because recycling does not work. Recycling is financially impossible. And we know this because since the 1950s in the USA, less than 10% of plastics have been recycled. And I'll tell you what, if one of the world's most developed, richest countries cannot recycle plastics, what makes anybody think that Indonesia can do it, or Malaysia can do it, or any country can do it? You know, so that's why we have come to the realization that we need to ban plastics. And a lot of people support this. There have been uh, public polls in LinkedIn where we see the majority of people, excuse me, the majority of people, they don't want single-use plastics, and we don't need them. This is a company where I'm from in California. This can replace this. We don't need plastic. Here in Thailand, I know over in Indonesia, you guys have an e-commerce website called Lazada, and I
Yeah.
believe you have Shopee too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we have that in Thailand, and look what I bought. This is from a Thai company. This is for my teeth, flossing my teeth, my teeth. There's no plastic. The container is glass. This is silk.
Yeah.
Silk is made from insects. And this is metal. There's no plastic.
The bottle that you show earlier, the bigger bottle, that one is also glass. Yeah.
This one is metal.
Oh, metal.
Yes. And one more product, and I think you will love this. I bought this product here in Thailand. I have two actually. For cleaning the ears. This is made from a local Thai wood.
Oh.
And this is made by a Thai company too. This is for cleaning my ears too. This is a Q-tip, or I think you say cotton bud in this part of the world. So this is real cotton, and this part is real bamboo. However, when you go to the local stores, you get this plastic packaging, okay? And then you get this thing that's made out of plastic, and it all gets thrown out. However, the eco-friendly Thai company that I bought this from, this came in a paper bag. And this is the reason why myself and others are strong opponents to trash burning technology. Trash burning technology is a false solution. It doesn't work, and it was invented to continue the production of plastics so that a very slim minority of ultra-rich individuals can maintain their petrochemical wealth. When we move away from incineration and adopt a circular economy, a real circular economy, that is better for everybody because it creates more jobs as we use natural products. And what we see from that is not only environmental benefits, but also economic benefits, because we have more job creation around recycling, around repairing, around making natural-based products like this. But that's only possible if we fight against incineration. Because when you have incineration, it's a technology that burns everything. And when you have a technology that burns everything, that means new stuff needs to be made. And that's what petrochemical companies want. They want to forever make new plastic products because that's where their revenue stream comes.
From the toxic smoke out of the incineration, yeah.
Yes, and it's not just single-use plastics. It's also the everyday technology that we use. My remote, my GoPro, my laser pointer for my classes. This really hard plastic is made from a type of plastic called ABS. The S stands for styrene. That's the same stuff as styrofoam. And we know that the chemical styrene causes depression in people.
Right.
That's just another reason why we need to stop making everything from plastics, because plastics are made from toxic chemicals, and that was in the Columbia University review on nanoplastics and also microplastics. When we drink our bottled water, we're not just drinking water, we are drinking water, we are drinking the chemicals that plastics are made from.
How about the development of biopolymer? Matt?
Again,
The development of biopolymer, how far it is feeding uh, to to be close to plastic quality like strength, uh, also against fire, things like that. What is the latest development, the success story of biopolymer development? Do you have any story?
bio, bio what? I'm sorry?
Poly, bioplastic,
Biopoly.
bioplastic, I mean, from seaweed or from some fungus. I saw that a couple of development in Europe and in
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Um,
the recent development of those material. They are meant to be alternate to plastic, right? To fit the plastic. How success are they? How successful are they?
it doesn't matter, in my opinion. And I think everybody in Southeast Asia knows what I'm talking about. Uh, I'll tell you why. First of all, let's say that let's just talk about my natural product, okay? So this Q-tip, this is made from all natural materials. It has a bamboo stem and a cotton top and bottom. Everything that we use, it goes in the trash. Okay, and we don't have waste separation in Southeast Asia. Even in our capital cities, we don't have waste separation. So it doesn't matter what stuff is made from, because it all ends up in landfill or in an incinerator. So when stuff goes to a landfill, there is an absence of oxygen, and therefore the stuff in a landfill, it cannot break down. It's kind of it's like in a time capsule, so to speak. So if you eat a banana, that banana goes to landfill. That banana will just stay a rotten, nasty banana peel in the landfill. We need oxygen for microorganisms to break down that banana. So it doesn't matter what the material is made of. That's the reason why the EU has said that a circular economy needs to first prioritize the reduction of waste. Then we need to have a refill and reusing of stuff. And those are all the top priority. Here, I made you a slide. This is the real versus fake circular economy. Can you see this?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we have Southeast Asian circular economy, which is the fake circular economy. And we have the real circular economy, which is the European, not the American. The USA shares a lot in common with Southeast Asia, as we have fossil fuel and plastic companies in our politics. However, the real leadership we see in the world of circular economy is coming from the EU. So this is my little graphic for you guys. And I just want to start with this news article from 2020. This is in a publication called NPR. All used plastic can be turned into new things, but picking it up, sorting it out, and melting it down is expensive. Plastic also degrades each time it is reused, meaning it cannot be reused more than once or twice. On the other hand, new plastic is cheap. It's made from oil and gas, and it's almost always less expensive and of better quality to just start fresh. I translated that into Indonesian. And what this is saying is that it doesn't matter what type of plastic you are using, because anything that is disposable, it will always be cheaper to just make something new from virgin materials. So when we talk about microplastics, when we talk about bioplastics, that's the wrong type of thinking, because it's the type of thinking where people are trying to figure out how to keep single use. And that's not a circular economy.
I see.
We need to think about how to reuse things, how to refill things, and how to create jobs around reuse and refill, not bioplastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Allow me to conclude. So, given the situation that in this region, especially Southeast Asia, no waste separation at all. So it doesn't matter what plastic is developed, because even with no separation, even bioplastic will end up in landfill as well, right?
It's exactly, and that's the reason why the United Nations this year is trying to get all countries of the world to commit to not allowing the production of plastics, the sale of plastics, the distribution, import, or export of plastic products. And this includes short-lived plastics as well as single-use plastics. So, again, we are the experts around the world have recognized that we cannot continue with single-use plastics no matter what they are made of. And if we look, yes.
What is to reduce the usage of single plastic, reduce the waste, and go as far as possible to refilling. I also saw, we also shared in our previous show that in Europe, refill stations are developing.
They are. And here is a graphic about that. And again, none of this is possible without government support. In Europe, there is a lot of government support. So this is how we stop microplastics. This is circular economy, real circular economy that we see in Europe as a result of their good government policies. So the first thing that we do is we prevent waste from happening. Then we try to reduce as much waste as possible with those refill stations that you saw. As possible with those refill stations that you saw. Then, after that, we try to reuse stuff. We can have a lot of businesses fixing items. That's how we reuse stuff. Only after that do we recycle. And if it cannot be recycled, then we burn it. Now, there are many different words for burn. This is known as pyrolysis, waste to energy, energy recovery, and integrated waste management. They all mean the same thing, burning. And at the very bottom, we have landfill. But what's happening here in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Brunei, is that the economies of Southeast Asia depend on oil, chemical, and plastics. And so what leaders have done in our region is they have turned this circular economy model upside down. And this is the reason why we see very embarrassing pictures of Indonesia online of Java's landfill mountains circulating. And so, of course, that's what our leaders in Southeast Asia are doing. They are maintaining a planet-killing level of plastic production for their economic benefit, and they're just sending everything to landfill. Uh, they're burning it, and when they burn it, they're calling it circular economy and zero waste, but it's not, because when you burn plastics, they're not magically turned into electricity. No, they are reduced into a very, very toxic ash that is cancer causing, and it needs to be securely contained. But that's not what's happening. We are using it as road filler for cement, and we're using it in projects, which exposes our food chain, our fish, our rice, our air to these toxic chemicals that are exacerbating cancer, sickness, reproductive harm. And this is what we need to remedy
I hope
in Southeast Asia.
I hope it is a first stage because Southeast Asia need to get rid of the landfill. Once they already able to, yeah, but it should be parallel with reducing the waste itself. Otherwise, it will not be uh, get rid. So after that, I hope we will switch to the EU approach because we already have mountains of landfills problem. So incineration is maybe a shortcut to get rid of them. But after 5 to 10 years, maybe we should. It's the time to switch to the EU approach. What do you think?
I hope so, but unfortunately, it seems that the new administration will follow what former President Lyoto was doing, which is uh, relying heavily on incinerators, on burning trash. And these incinerators are being funded by the Asian Development Bank, and they are being supported by Thai incineration companies, by Japanese incineration companies, as well as some European ones. One of the big incineration companies spreading incinerators throughout Southeast Asia is Mitsubishi from Japan. And Japan arguably is one of the most successful incinerating countries. And when I say it's successful, I'm talking about the high density of incinerators functioning within their country. I haven't seen many other countries who have as many incinerators as Japan. And what we don't really see in Southeast Asia that Japan does is that in Southeast Asia, we don't have waste separation. But in Japan, they do. They do have the waste separation. If this technology comes to Southeast Asia, and it will, we have 17 incinerators planned for Indonesia, mostly in Java, and we have about 80 incinerators planned for Thailand, because, again, going back to the economy, these are fossil fuel plastic producing countries that depend on manufacturing a growing amount of virgin plastics, and we are running out of landfill space. So that landfill is going to incineration, and incineration is being greenwashed as a magical technology that can turn trash to electricity, but that's not true. It is trash being burned, and that trash being converted to a very toxic ash that needs to be contained, but it's not. Here in Thailand, in Phuket, we are like one of the world's top tourism destinations. Greenpeace found that the toxic ash from incinerators is being dumped in mangroves. Wow. So what does that mean for people who eat fish? What does that mean for tourists who go snorkeling? Like, some of the most toxic chemicals known to science, which are created in incinerators, are being dumped in nature. That's why we cannot trust anybody with incineration. And that's a big reason why the EU does not provide funding to incineration anymore. And incineration is not and cannot be part of the circular economy. We need to prioritize preventing waste, reducing waste, and reusing waste.
Singapore, who uses the ash from incineration,
Reclamation.
yeah, the ash is used for reclamation. That's what Singapore is doing.
Yes, and that is because Singapore, they used to be a very, very poor country. However, they got wealthy from fossil fuels. Their main import export is crude oil. They refine crude oil, and from that they export it. And it makes sense because Indonesia drills for oil in the Palau Riau Islands, as well as Sumatra, which are very close to Singapore. And so it makes sense for Singapore because they rely on dirty energy money. And without much land mass, it makes sense for them to use incineration because incineration is powered by fossil fuels. Essentially, incinerators are huge factory-sized barbecues. So you need oil or gas to create fire in these machines. So it's a win-win, and this is why big oil created this technology. You have a machine that uses oil or gas to burn stuff, and that allows for the forever production of plastics, which are also made from oil or gas. And it creates a circular profit for these industries to continue to pollute our planet, our food sources, our rice, our fish with microplastics, with global warming gases. So for the case of Singapore, could they move to a circular economy? They could. But what we also know about Singapore is they use the most plastic models of any country in Southeast Asia. I remember that making news in LinkedIn. So I would like to see more refill stations in Singapore. I would like to see a phasing out of petrochemical products in Singapore because the green image of Singapore, it's not real, it's fake, and it's funded by big oil money.
We have 1.5 minutes left. Final statement from you as conclusion.
Final statement is this pyramid right here: prevent waste, reduce waste, and reuse waste. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. This is what Southeast Asian culture used to be like in the past, before the westernization of the area with fossil fuels and plastics. These materials have been normalized in Southeast Asian culture, but it's not your heritage. So I really do encourage leaders and citizens of Southeast Asia to stop westernizing themselves and to instead modernize yourselves. Look back to your past. Look back to what made your empires great, and use your creative thinking skills to figure out a way to bring that into the 21st century so that your lives can thrive, your economies can thrive, and you can do it without the colonization of Western plastics, Western oil, and Western gas, because it was actually the Dutch who discovered oil in Indonesia, and it really is up to Indonesians to go back to natural materials and find a way to monetize it so that we can prioritize reducing waste, preventing it, reusing it.
You consistently implementing this, yeah. The circular economy at the top.
Again, please.
Yeah, is consistently implementing this approach, the top circular economy picture you are showing.
Yes, and we even have multinational corporations who are doing that. Like this right here, I bought this from IKEA. It could have been made from plastic, but it's made from bamboo. There are many, 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 many products and services that can be formed around the top part of that pyramid. And I'll make one closing comment about how this can be done. So this is my my GoPro, and I had to buy it. The reason why I had to buy it is because in Southeast Asia, it's not possible to rent. we can prevent waste by allowing people to rent products, and this creates reoccurring revenue for businesses rather than just selling something once and then having it go to landfill once it's obsolete. So prioritize businesses around renting products, form partnerships with big brands. That is how we prevent waste, focusing on renting instead of owning, and create jobs around customizing
Yeah.
rather than buying something new.
And refilling instead of packaging, right?
Yes. So imagine the jobs that can be created if we copied a Grab food delivery service. Imagine that you have a refillable glass bottle, okay, and you use this for for me, this is my alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So instead of going to the store to buy a plastic jug to refill, why can't we have a delivery service where somebody on a motorbike comes to my home and they can refill my bottles with alcohol or maybe with my laptop screen cleaner,
Mhm.
or maybe even medicines? Focused on refill businesses. This creates jobs and it eliminates the whole need for bioplastics. We don't need bioplastics at all.